Blessed. I've never talked about this on camera. You know, homosexuality. An incident happened with me and one of my children within the last few months. We had a conversation, but basically the conversation turned to trash because, you know, young people have an idea, or I should say, when young people have an idea, it is hard for them to see outside of that, you know. But anyway, without getting into that too deep, maybe I was a little harsh, but the point I was trying to bring home did not come into full effect, because the point was easily missed because of judgment. You know, being a father, somebody who's old and wiser, I tried my best to create understanding, but it wasn't allowed. Sometimes you have to let people grow a little bit more to understand. It's not all the time you can judge, and simply because you judge, you don't see anything outside of that. You know, communication. A lot of people, you communicate with them, not to be on the women, but I see it more in women, where you're in an argument or you're in a conversation, and they're so eager to respond as opposed to listening. Now on the flip side, for the men, sometimes they just don't want to talk, because you see, people need to be right. People's thirst for being right is what messes up conversation and communication. But anyway, homosexuality, you know, you have so many things now, transgenders and, you know, all type of things that steer in that alternate direction. But what I've come to realize is balance, regardless of whatever. People don't see it still as balance, and that is what I'm coming to realize now. You know, you get old and you understand more angles, and now I'm understanding what's going on. Now people just look at balance as male and female, but let's use alpha and beta for example. There can be a balance between alpha and beta for things to run smoothly. Just like you can have heterosexual and homosexual in balance for things to run smoothly. So really and truly, instead of people worrying about the question of what is being wrong or right, they should try to figure out what is the balance. Can everybody be alike? When you look into the world, when you look into the universe, you see diversity, you know, and you see diversity even within similar things, and that is the mystic. That is the mystic. I feel like on both sides, you know, we worry too much about the sexual aspect. I mean, even in relationships in general, you know, the sexual aspect is what overpowers everything in many instances. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm positive that during the course of life, we have people who have done things for us that think differently than us, have a different religion, have a different political ideology, have a different educational level or background, have a different understanding of life, have a different understanding of what we may call morality or discipline, you know. But this human experience, if it was just one way, if it was simply just one way, that would make it seem robotic, you know. So I was watching a podcast today, you know, with what it was, All the Smoke and Kenny Smith. It was very interesting, you know, and it sparked some things. I don't know who have seen it, but he mentioned one situation about Dean Smith and an assistant coach with an African player. There was some misunderstanding or communication, and this player was kicked out of practice. So when the player was kicked out of practice by the assistant coach, you know, I guess maybe he saw something, insubordination, or maybe he saw disrespect, because I guess the player wasn't looking at him directly in his eyes. So Dean Smith approached him afterwards, the player that is, and Dean Smith was telling the player, when I talk to you, look in my eyes, look at me, speak. And after trying to coax him to look him directly into his eyes, right, the player said, in my culture, to look at an adult directly into the eyes is looked upon as disrespect. So now, that assistant coach wasn't in practice for the next week. A day went, 2 days went, a whole week went. And then the player's mother called the player from Africa, wherever it was in Africa, and said, his mother called and said, I know Dean Smith, but this other coach, I don't know him. He's here, he's been here for a week, and he said he's here to learn our culture. So literally, Dean Smith sent that assistant coach to Africa to learn about this man's culture, to understand why he communicates that way. So you see, different people have different cultures, and culture is changing every day. Personally, for me, I'm not the one to say whether it's right or wrong. I'm sure there are many people in different avenues of life that are whatever they are, and they contribute to our daily living, our standard of living, in some way, shape, or form. So, if you judge them solely on their sexual preference or what they're attracted to, that can be tricky. I mean, we know what a murderer is, and we know that taking life is wrong. I don't think most people would associate with a murderer. See, religion will tell you that sin is sin, such and such, so on and so forth. But in real life, everything doesn't carry the same magnitude or the same weight. A man may think that his human experience is to be a particular way because this is the way he feels joy and happiness, regardless of what any religious book states, regardless of how good or bad you may think it is. I feel like if people are not harming other people, right, I don't think we should worry about it that deeply. And in my situation as a melanated being, I think we should be more concerned about the bloodshed and the backstabbing amongst our own people. I think that is more important to be concerned about. You know? So, some years I blew out my knee and it needed surgery. It was a ruptured tendon. And I thought to myself, man, I don't know this surgeon from Adam. This is a surgeon that was associated with professional teams, professional NFL team. And I said to myself, well, I was fearful that I wouldn't be able to walk again, run again. You know, learned that I had a deformity from when I was a youth. It never really affected me too much in terms of playing sports, but I think it contributed to that particular injury, and he kind of suggested that also. But I thought to myself, I don't know this man from Adam, and this man was able to make me have some level of confidence again. I never played basketball at the same level because, you know, life happens and people have to work and do different things, but at least I was able to drop in and out and still have fun doing something that I loved. I don't know this man's sexual preference, but I'm grateful for his expertise. We've gone to school, we've been fond of teachers or coaches or whatever the case may be. We don't know, we judge them from what they can do and what they can give, and they do give those things, you know. So people can contribute positively to your life, and to simply overshadow them with judgment because of their sexual preference is actually unfair. Nobody's perfect. This is the test of life, to see the good in people, not just harp on the bad. You know what I'm saying? Like they say in a country like Jamaica, homosexuality is illegal. You know what I'm saying? But then when you check it, bloodshed is illegal too. And these people kill like you would not believe. Not everybody, of course, but there's a spirit overshadowing that ratted place. And you know, you have violence in different countries and so on and so forth. And you say to yourself, that should be the focus. But the irony is, if you listen to the music, violence is promoted. Violence is promoted. So a lot of times, certain people are not qualified to cast judgment. You're not qualified. Because on the flip side, you live a messed up life. So it's not fair. You know? Can you imagine? Life is so mystic, right? We know that we are in captivity as a people. Any black country you go to, there's European influence. Who's to say when it's all said and done, for us to overcome, it is the people who you don't like or you have judged harshly are the ones who actually were able to set us free. Who's to say? Not the ones who promote and say they're this or that, and in the public's eye it appears as if they are doing the most, because some of those people are going to be sellouts too. Some of those people are going to be the most disappointing people. But those who we have judged harshly may be the ones who step up to the plate in crunch time or in the clutch and put us over the top. This is why I don't overly judge, but everybody talks shit about everybody. And that's another thing. We can't be overly sensitive too, because even if sometimes, I've said it before, I may be angry about something and I may generalize and call white people devils. That's just a reality. Just because you know the history of a certain group of people who have oppressed us, but that doesn't make everybody that. So it's the human in us that makes us judge sometimes out of anger, being overly emotional. It happens. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to always balance it out and say that I see you black devils also. I see you devils from all ethnic backgrounds, meaning that you carry negative spirit and only think for self and affect other groups of people unjustly. So I recognize that too. You know, that is why balance is good. You know what I'm saying? So that you don't fall too deep into the hole of judgment and not realize your own wrongs and just wrongs in general. You know? So, well, I know it's not for me. Homosexual men have come on to me. I did Uber for some years. I've been around. One time I had an Uber. And this guy, you know. So I can't remember what the conversation was about. But after the conversation was done, he said he never thought that you'd be able to have a conversation like this with somebody who looked like me. So you see, people have their ideas, their perceptions of what they see and think. You know? And even after that conversation, you know, just sharing some wisdom, I guess I made him feel too comfortable. You know? Because he was giving me his number and telling me he wanted to talk to me and so on and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm not sure if people have been through those kind of things, but I've been there. You know, I'll talk to anyone. You know what I'm saying? Because real life happens in life. You know, and people go through a lot of the same things, a lot of the same emotions and situations, and sometimes need somebody to shed some light on something. You know? That's just life. And you may be surprised who you can affect positively. You may be surprised. You know? So we all should just be more on the vibe of giving a helping hand so everybody can enjoy this experience, you know, in a wonderful way. Just like how we want to enjoy it. You know? So, what I don't like though, and this is generally speaking, is when somebody pretend to be something that they're not. I think that's worse. Because you have people out here pretending to be heterosexuals, but they're not. You know? Or you may have people. Everybody come out in their own time, but somebody may be a homosexual and, you know, they're afraid to come out because they're afraid they may be judged. I think it's better for everything to be on the table. I think it's better for all the cards to be on the table. Because people need to know, you know, just a reality check. You know, you can't sugarcoat anything. You should not sugarcoat things. It should be on the table so it could be dealt with. You know, like you have a friend or who you consider a friend, but they may hate your guts, and this may go on for years, and you never know until an argument come up or they can't hold it inside anymore. They hate you, but they were pretending to be friends all along. Or you're pretending to be in love, but you're cheating. You're not even just cheating sometimes with one person. You're whoring around. You know what I'm saying? People should just be upfront. There's enough on the earth for everyone. But to keep somebody captive, I think is the worst sin. Whether you keep them captive economically or keep them captive in love, you know, or keep them captive in access to things that could better their lives. Those are the things I typically have problems with. You know? So yeah, I just think that in this particular time, pandemic, war, all these fraudulent religions, I really think that we should be focused on more important things. You know, like how we can make a better life for everyone, so everybody can live peacefully and happily on the face of the earth. Children can grow and enjoy life and not have to worry about people coming into their schools with guns, or adults touching on children, or siblings fighting one another, you know, or parents weaponizing children, keeping the children from a particular parent because of envy, because those children love maybe their father, but you just happen to hate their father because their father refuses to fail or to be controlled by someone who is proven to be lesser than what is adequate, you know. So yeah, I know people may say, so what now, you're pro-homosexual? No, I'm pro-balance. That is what I am. I am pro-balance. I just think that people can focus on more important things for the benefit of our people. You know what I'm saying? And like years ago, it's taboo to talk about sex and so on, and now it's so out in the open. You go on any post right now, you see something not even just sexual, but overly sexual. You know? If we focus on, when you think of relationship in this time, basically you're thinking sexual. Not friendship, not communication, not working together. But for somehow, that sexual part of it is always sex heavy. You know? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, talk to anybody. I have a good conversation with anyone, you know. And a lot of times you have a conversation with some people and you realize you have more in common with them than not. And that's the beauty about life. You know what I'm saying? That is the beauty about life. We have more in common than we think. And because we judge one aspect, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. You might have a game, you know, and you may be in a particular moment, but a bad turnover may happen. And then you judge that whole situation by that bad turnover and disregard all the things that happen during the course of the game that caused it to get to that point. But you'll focus on that one person who made a turnover at that particular time, not realizing that if the person who is thinking, you know, overthinking that particular play, they may have had 5 turnovers much earlier in the game, and if those 5 turnovers didn't happen, the whole course of the game would have changed. So we have to be careful of how we judge situations and life, you know. So yes, I blessed.